to episode 24 as we are on Wrestlemania 24 when you get in there. And we're also in Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida with 74,635 other people.
Woo.
John Legend sings the national anthem, to which we skipped. Then JBL defeated Finlay in 8 minutes 35 seconds in a Belfast brawl.
Bit of a boring start.
Awful storyline going in. Apparently, the storyline going in is that Hornswoggle is Vince McMahon's son, but then JBL attacks Hornswoggle, and it turns out that Hornswoggle is Finlay's son. Shock and horror.
You know what though? I know it's selling and all the rest of it. Maybe it's because I've not seen Hornswoggle very much. I don't know, but I felt really sorry for him in this match, and I don't mean to be condescending,
Yeah.
whatever. But I felt really sorry for him. I don't think it's because he's dwarf, but like, yeah, he looked really sad, and he genuinely looked sad. It wasn't.
I hate Hornswoggle and everything.
I've not really. To be fair, I've seen him about twice ever.
Yeah.
I missed out on that.
We get a backdrop off the steel steps from JBL. Hornswoggle hits JBL with a kendo stick. Then Shillelagh is used on JBL. There's a dive through the ropes by Finlay, but he gets hit with a trash can on the face. Finlay hits his finisher, I don't know which one because he has like 3, and then throws JBL into the table, but that only gets a 2 count. There's a kendo stick into the knee of Finlay, which causes him to hit his head on some steel steps, and then a clothesline from hell for the win. And that's it. We go to the back for Kim Kardashian to be there. Why the fuck she's there, I don't know. Mr. Kennedy interrupts her and says that he's going to become a 2-time Mr. Money in the Bank. And we go into the Money in the Bank match, which is CM Punk defeating Shelton Benjamin, Chris Jericho, Carlito, MVP, Mr. Kennedy, and John Morrison in 13 minutes and 55 seconds.
I knew he could do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I knew he could do it anyway.
Because you knew.
I knew the winners.
I have seen this WrestleMania before now. But, I may as well just say it now, I'll not wait to the end. I got into wrestling at the beginning of last year, which is 2013. And I was lent by my friend Mark, who was in the previous video, a few of the WrestleManias. The one before. Few before. Sorry.
WrestleMania 21 video.
That's the one. I was lent a few of the WrestleManias, and this was the first one. I didn't realise until it started that I've seen this. I'd forgotten who won a lot of the matches, but I'd seen it before, so it was like really weird going back to the very beginning of any of my sort of teaching.
Okay.
It was really, really awesome.
We start the match in which MVP is stopping anyone from getting in the ring with a ladder. And then Y2J and MVP have a joust, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
We get a moonsault whilst holding a ladder by Morrison onto a group of people. Jericho goes to flip Kennedy into a ladder, but he lands on the ladder. But Morrison then rides a ladder onto another, which is quite cool. Kennedy suplexes Morrison as Shelton Benjamin also hits a sunset flip on the powerbomb, so it's like 2 moves in one. Carlito pushes Shelton onto the ropes, but he balances on the ropes before looking like he was going to jump onto the ladder, but sadly the ladder broke. That was a really cool spot.
Such a weird person.
He's awesome. I actually
the
quite
whole
like
Apple
him.
Thing's a bit weird.
What? He's just a gimmick. But he's
It's
good
a
in the
bit of a
ring.
dirty gimmick.
Very good in the
I have
ring.
to see more of him.
There was a go to sleep on Shelton. Might check onto the ladder by Punk. Not by Punk, on Punk by Kennedy. Shelton pushed off the ladder through another ladder, which is quite awesome. MVP then pushes Jericho, Kennedy and Carlito off ladders. Walls of Jericho on top of the ladder on Morrison. We get Punk and Carlito springboard onto the ladders. We get a backstabber off the ladder. MVP about to win, but then Matt Hardy comes through the crowd and hits the Twist of Fate off the ladder. There's a pyramid made of ladders in which Morrison starts climbing up one, but he's pushed off the ladder, and then the ladder also hits Punk.
That looked quite horrible actually. Right in the arm.
Carlito then spit the apple into Jericho's face. Kennedy pushes Carlito onto the ladder, but Punk hits Kennedy with the ladder. We then get a code breaker through the ladder on Punk, but then Punk hooks Jericho's leg and grabs the briefcase for the win.
Awesome. I thought going into this match it was either going to be Punk, Jericho, maybe Carlito, because you said he's going to sort of become a okay deal, not a massive deal, but
not really. Deal. I don't think he'll be gone soon.
No. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a shame. No, I think you're thinking of Kennedy.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I had seen it before, but I'd completely forgotten the Punk won it, which was really cool. But
Yeah.
there was a really cool spot. I don't know, maybe you worded it differently, where there was the two ladders, and it was like the thin part of the ladders were at the bottom. One went inside the other one, and they sort of like did this.
Yeah,
they were jumping
on them
and flicking them.
Ladders, yeah.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite cool.
Awesome.
We didn't get shown the Hall of Fame, which was Gordon Soley, the Briscoe brothers, not the Ring of Honor kind, the old kind. Mae Young, Rocky Johnson, Peter Maivia, Eddie Graham, and of course Ric Flair, because this was about Ric Flair, this one. Yeah. Josh Matthews is in the back with Snoop Dogg, in which Santino starts to take the mickey out of him. Not
Snoop Doggy Dog.
Yeah, we get Festus with him. If you don't remember Festus, he becomes a big deal with Punk in the Straight Edge Society, where at this time he plays a very simple person, in which if a bell rings, he then decides to go mental. To which Snoop Dogg rang a bell and he chased off Santino. Then Mick Fizzle, Fizzle Bizzle came in. That's Mick Foley for us people that speak English. And he tells us to have a nice dizzle. Yeah.
I hope that means day.
We then get Batista defeating Umaga in 7 minutes and 6 days.
6 days.
It felt like 6 days. 6 seconds. Regal calls Umaga Umanga, which I found quite funny. And the only things I wrote here was playing up Batista not able to slam Umaga, then a very sloppy Batista bomb for the win.
I just put sad face because I was watching properly and I was like, it's nothing, boring.
We then get Kane defeating Chavo Guerrero in 11 seconds. Basically, he hits the choke slam and wins.
What?
Yeah.
Why? Why even have this match?
Don't know. To get the ECW title on there.
Dumb.
Yeah. We then get That's So Raven talking to the crowd to tell us that, you know, WWE is a lovely bunch of people and they like to help the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yep.
We already knew that. We then get into what many would probably think is one of the matches of the night, which was Shawn Michaels defeating Ric Flair in 20 minutes and 24 seconds, in which if Ric Flair loses the match, he has to retire.
Wow.
There's a nice little bit where it's Old Yeller, you call me Old Yeller, sort of thing, because of the story about putting Old Yeller out. We get a moonsault onto the table, but Flair moves, in which HBK looks like he damages his ribs. He sells it for the rest of the night. There's a moonsault off the top rope this time, and it hits. Oh, sorry. There's a swap of chops before a kip up, and then a scoop slam. HBK then hits the top rope elbow. HBK goes for the sweet chin music, but he hesitates, and then because he hesitates, Ric Flair locks in the figure 4 leg lock. Ric Flair then starts to work on the knees of HBK before the figure 4 leg lock. He goes for that, but that's counted to a pin for a 2 count. An enziguri is then reversed into a figure 4, to which HBK gets to the ropes. Flair walks into into the sweet chin music for a 2. HBK calls for the sweet chin music and demands for Flair to get up. And HBK starts to pick up Flair, but then he gets a low blow beyond the rest back. Yep. There's chops to HBK, but then a sweet chin music out of nowhere. HBK then is standing in the corner, is about to call for the sweet chin music, and then he utters those words that everyone knows: "I'm sorry, I love you," and then he hits the sweet chin music for the win, and then he kisses Ric Flair on the forehead and leaves for Ric Flair to be applauded by the crowd.
Oh my god.
It was a really good match. A nice little thing was the referee in the match was Charles Robinson, who was a huge Ric Flair fan. He even has like the coat that Ric Flair has, and he was given the refereeing for the match, which was quite cool. It is a really decent match. I don't think it's as good as people make it out to be, but that moment, the "I love you" moment, was pretty cool.
It was the first match I ever saw of Flair, and I admit it's, I think, one of the best matches that personally I've seen of him, because I've not seen many of his matches, mainly WrestleMania matches to be fair. And yeah, I mean, I got shivers when we figured out we were going to be seeing this match. First time I ever saw it, I did cry, and which is ridiculous because I'd never seen it before. And yeah, every time I think about it or watch it and stuff like that, I get goosebumps, and it's incredible. That moment when he looks so sad at the beginning of the match, you know, really going for it, and you know, HBK, like, has to do it. Like, out of everybody who could retire Flair, they've picked a good one.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been really cheap. They could have made it Triple H or someone like that. They didn't. They picked somebody who had enough respect for Flair to do it, you know, with honour. And I know that he was honoured to do that. I'm sure he was. And just the look in his face, he looked absolutely like just... Oh, it was horrible. Yeah. He looked so upset, like, doing it. And, you know, he meant those words.
It was a really cool moment. Really cool moment. We then go to the back for a really good promo by Edge, in which Edge discusses how he was at WrestleMania 6, and he was a huge Hogan fan, and then Hogan lost the time he went to go and watch them. And he said that part of his innocence was gone that day, and everyone expects the Undertaker to win every time. Well, he's going to beat the Undertaker, and he's going to take the innocence from the children that are watching the Undertaker. Really good promo. We then go into Beth Phoenix and Melina defeating Maria and Ashley in 5 minutes 56 seconds. The lights went out halfway through the match. Quite funny.
This was the Snoop Dogg.
This is the Snoop Dogg and the Playboy people.
They at the very beginning of it, they had Snoop Dogg come out and he was in like the golf cart.
Yeah.
And it drove, and I found that really funny because you've got Snoop Doggy Dogg who's like superstar, cool, you know, cool geezer. And that's the wrong word to use, I'm so sorry. And he sits in this little golf cart and it drives so slow.
Yeah.
It's like he's so cool, and he's got to drive like this slow, like 5, not even 5 miles an hour. This thing was driving so slowly, and the women were walking to the ring and they had to slow themselves down just so they could stay behind him.
Yeah, it was so stupid.
It was really funny.
This whole match was stupid.
And he had Throne.
Yeah, when she sat
ringside.
there and watched. Yeah. During the match, Santino stops, I think, Maria from beating Melina. So Lawler goes over and punches Santino. Then Beth Phoenix hits the fisherman suplex on Maria and gets the win, to which Snoop Dogg then clotheslines Santino and then kisses Maria, because Maria shows how much of a slag she is during this match by doing a sexy dance to Snoop Dogg and then kissing Snoop Dogg.
Doggy dog.
We then get an African band come out, and first of all they play God Save the Queen. God knows why.
I don't know why.
I don't know why. And then they played a really bad rendition of Cena's theme.
You said to me, it's like, what is that? What is that? And I recognised a couple of the notes and was like, I think that's Cena. And then he ran out.
Yeah, Cena looking a lot leaner. A lot leaner.
Leaner Cena.
Yeah, a lot leaner. So which we go into Randy Orton retaining his WWE Championship by defeating John Cena and Triple H in 14 minutes and 9 seconds.
I'm glad it was only 14 minutes and 9 seconds.
Yeah. Orton hits Triple H with the belt straight away. Cena goes for an FU on Triple H and Orton at the same time, but that doesn't happen. There's a double DDT off the ropes. Orton's in the STFU, but gets to the ropes thanks to Triple H, to which Triple H then locks Orton into the Indian Deathlock, but Cena breaks it up. Triple H is then thrown to the outside, and then he's put back into the STFU until Triple H breaks it up again. Triple H locks in the crossface, which was interesting to see after what has just recently happened in WWE. I'm pretty sure that move was banned. Cena manages to get to the ropes. FU is then reversed into the pedigree, but Orton hits the punt on Triple H before covering Cena for the win. Yeah, that was that match.
No words.
We then go into the celebrity match, which was Floyd Mayweather defeating Big Show in 11 minutes and 36 seconds, in which they just worked this really weird match in which they had to sort of have it that Big Show obviously didn't hurt Mayweather in any way.
I don't like it when they mix like people from other sports. It's almost like it's a desperate plea to get the people that watch other sports watching wrestling.
Yeah, it is.
That's literally, and it's like,
because think how many media outlets would have picked this up, because this was during when Mayweather was really big.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he got 20 million.
Yeah, 20 million.
Yeah.
20 million. Well, who needs that much money ever in their life?
Basically, the match ends with Mayweather hitting with the brass knucks onto Big Show for the win. Mayweather was booed out of the building as well.
Good.
There was an awesome video package for the next match where they were building up Undertaker's undefeated streak, and then Edge would get involved, and they were also building up the fact that Edge has never lost. Sorry, at WrestleMania. So it was 2 streaks going up against each other. It was a great video package, and Edge got a really cool entrance as well. All the fireworks going off everywhere.
Like at the very, very beginning of this, because it's open air arena, and they had some fireworks. I'm like, that's pointless. That's more money thrown down the drain if you haven't paid Ross's bloody face enough.
Yeah, Floyd
Like,
Mayweather.
you've given these stupid fireworks because it took forever for, you know, daylight to go. And then, Edge, it was awesome.
Yeah.
That was,
really cool.
Brilliant.
We get straight into the match in which Old School's countered, but the counter is countered itself. Edge goes to attack... Undertaker goes to attack Edge in the corner, but he falls over the top rope and hurts the ribs, to which Edge keeps working on the ribs for the whole match. Edge was thrown off the top rope to the outside, which looked quite painful. There was an over-the-top rope dive onto Edge, which we know Undertaker always does. Undertaker goes for the last ride, but his back gave out due to the injury. There was a backdrop onto the guardrail and into the crowd. There's a snake eyes, but Edge drop kicks before the big boot. Edge jumps into a choke slam, but Edge then counters that into the executioner. Spear is then countered with the knee and then hit with the choke slam for a 2 count. A superplex is hit for a 2 count. Michael Cole is going crazy about the streak is over during this. We mentioned it in the last video. He's just as bad in this one. Oh, the streak is over. No, it's a 2 count. You know, so annoying. There's the top rope punches, the usual spot. Top rope punches into the last ride, but this time it's counted into a neck breaker for a 2 count. Then we get the last ride for a 2 count. The tombstone is then countered, to which Undertaker goes for the big boot, but that hits the ref. Edge shouts at Undertaker, but he's grabbed by the throat, but then Edge decides to go for the low blow. Edge grabs a camera and hits Undertaker with it. Edge then tries to wake up the ref, but the ref falls out of the ring, so the Undertaker can sit up. Edge goes for the tombstone, but that's reversed, and Undertaker hits the tombstone. But this ref takes way too long to run into the ring. Poor guy, he's sprinting.
He's right. It's like a fucking train.
Yeah, he's sprinting.
Wow. I was quite impressed with
but that's only a 2 count. Then the Edgeheads come out, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. To which Zack Ryder is chokeslammed onto Hawkins. This is way before that.
Yeah.
Then there's a spear from Edge, but that only gets a 2 count. There's another spear, but then Undertaker, before Edge can go for the cover, counters into the Hell's Gate, and Edge taps for the win. Really good match. Really good match. I would actually say, well, I'm going to go straight into match of the night. I actually put this as the match of the night.
Really?
Yeah, I would say this is the match of the night. You're obviously putting Flair
last year.
HBK.
Last year, I said, last video, I said that the Undertaker match was really physical, but this was even better because that was like spot physical, but this is actually like the flying over each other and actually beating each other up.
And there was a really good story to the same as the HBK and Flair match. There was a really good story going in the match, like HBK and Flair. It was HBK not wanting to hit the sweet chin music and then obviously having to. But whereas this one is Edge is working the back as much as possible, so that Undertaker can't use any of his moves, sort of thing. I mean, he highlights the fact that during this time, whenever Edge would have a match, the Edgeheads would get involved. Vicky Guerrero would get involved. I like the fact that the Edgeheads had such a small role, and Vicky obviously didn't get
literally
involved.
just went gooey.
Yeah,
and went
that
again.
was it.
Undertaker wasn't having any of that.
I thought the story to this match was so good, so good. Edge was like desperate. He was putting in everything he could to beat the streak. I know we're going to get a story like that very soon, in a couple of WrestleMania's time. But I thought this just easily the match.
If there hadn't been another match, then this would have been.
I wonder what your match of the night is then.
It is the Flair HBK match.
I think this.
I'm going to annoy you. Carry on.
I think this is better than the HBK Flair match, but HBK Flair match was solid, definitely solid.
Yeah.
What was your wrestler of the night?
I want two.
Go on.
You're hating this. I think HBK because it should be Flair because it was his last match, but I'm not going to give a cheap shot and give him the mark because he didn't really do a lot of the wrestling in the ring, for being honest. He did well, he did really, really well in this match. But at the end of the day, he's an old man, and HBK
too old to be
exactly.
wrestling.
HBK was the one doing all the work, and also it was really like punishing on him. Like he was really sad. It made me sad. And they were all sad.
I've got to give it to Edge. Edge was awesome in the match. He had an awesome promo. Everything was
honestly,
just so good
if the Flair match hadn't you know, if it hadn't like moved me so much, and it hadn't meant a lot to me because obviously it was my first match I ever saw. It's one of the most memorable matches I've ever seen. Like, it sticks with me whenever people talk about memorable matches. Hadn't been for that, it would have been Edge. Like, honestly. But,
yeah, because I don't understand. During this time period, Edge is obviously the big guy on SmackDown along with Undertaker. Yeah. Watching this again, I don't understand how Edge wasn't the #1 guy in the company. He's just so good.
We know this. It's nothing to do with who deserves it.
WrestleMania moment. I'm going to throw mine straight in. It's the HBK. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I love you. Yeah, it's mine.
And you can't pick any other moment.
It's amazing.
Overall rating.
To be honest, this WrestleMania I felt went quite fast. I don't think anything is different, really, apart from I enjoyed the matches. I think there wasn't too much filler. There was a few here and there, but they were quite small, so it didn't feel too painful. But maybe 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 7 because, like you said, it went really quick. But I think it was because we didn't have anything that was over too boring, you know, and I didn't have those moments where it's like, oh, come on, next match, because I know the next match is good.
There was the ones that were good were really good and made up for the fact there was a few like moments.
Yeah, no, definitely a 7 out of 10. I think that's got to be like in the top 10 for me.
Definitely for me, yeah.
Next Mania, WrestleMania 25, the 25th anniversary. We're in Reliant Stadium in Texas. Close to the Reliant Astrodome for WrestleMania 17.
Okay.
Main event is going to be Triple H against Randy Orton. We also get John Cena against Edge against Big Show. But then we got the match that everyone remembers this WrestleMania for, the first of Shawn Michaels against Undertaker. Ooh, the first of 2. And then there's 2 matches here that I want to mention because I think I'm looking forward to them. It's Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy.
Oh, really?
Versus brother, yeah.
Well, that's the best story.
And we also get Chris Jericho in a handicap match against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Roddy Piper, and Jimmy Snuka.
Oh, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I think Mickey Rourke has something to do with it because this is promoting
the wrestler, yeah. Amazing film.
But yeah, definitely go and see that. It's really good, especially seeing as like Ring of Honor is prominent in that whole film. Awesome, Ring of Honor. Yeah. But that was WrestleMania 24.
I don't understand why Punk still hasn't had his own match.
Because he doesn't mean anything yet. He means nothing. Punk doesn't get his own match in the next Mania either.
Seriously.
No, he doesn't. He's not.
Why am I doing this? Why am I even bothering?
Oh dear, the one wrestler matters, yeah.
No, HBK's still in it, so it's alright.
No, HBK. But that was WrestleMania 24. Yeah, 24. We got through this really quickly, actually. Looking at the time, really quickly. But we'll be back tomorrow for WrestleMania 25 with what many people think of is the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. So let's see what we think of it as well.
We'll see. Remember.
But we'll see you tomorrow. As usual, like, subscribe, comment. Tell me I'm being overly harsh on Flair and HBK. You know, tell us how much you miss Edge. I was Bingham. That was Chipmunk. That was Forks. And we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you later.